fancy meeting you here. What do you think of me little jewel here? She's a 1961 Triumph TR3A, and she's been a part of my family longer than I've been a part of my family. It all started when I was a young lad, and I would go visit my aunt in Memphis, Tennessee. The story goes a little something like this. It's rather extraordinary. When I was a young man, I would go to visit my aunt and my great-grandma who lived in Memphis, Tennessee. And my aunt had this car in her garage out there that was always covered with a tonneau cover that just covered, you see these snaps here, that just covered this top here. And it had a little flap that you could unzip and flip that over and sit in that side. And I would sit in this side. I don't know how old I was. I wasn't 10 yet, younger than 10 probably. And man, I would pretend like I was driving this thing. I just thought it was the coolest looking sports car I'd ever seen, you know. My aunt had bought it brand new in 1961 from, I guess, a Triumph dealer in Memphis, if there was one, probably in the mid-70s. Now, this was my Aunt Mickey, and she was my mom's aunt, so she'd really been my great aunt. And sometime after that, she sold it or gave it to my Uncle Mike. So after that, Mike had it for, so I don't know how many years each one of these guys had it, but he sold it to his uncle on his dad's side instead of his mom's side. So he sold it to him, and then he had it for I don't know how many years. And that's when he had it, that's when I heard about it, that it was still in existence, that somebody in the family still had it. And his name is Donald. So he had it for several years. And so that's when I was thinking about, man, it'd be really cool to have that thing since it's still around. And he ended up selling it to Doug, which would have been his nephew. So that would have been my mom's cousin. So Doug had it for a few years. I'm not sure how many years he had it. And then my Uncle Mike that first had it gave me a call one day and said, hey, I hear that Doug is going to sell the Triumph. So are you interested? And I said, yes. And so I contacted Doug and he said, hey, I'd love to sell it to you instead of it going out of the family. So I went down and we made a deal and I bought it and here it is. So it's amazing that this thing has been in the family since 1961. I mean, there is no rust on this thing. It's amazing. You guys remember me telling you about the story of the other Triumph that I restored, which was a Spitfire. It was 1965. This is 61. And that 65, there was no, after I bought it, this was the first car I ever did anything with, restored or worked on. And when I got it home, I pulled the carpet up and I was just looking at the concrete underneath. There was no floor at all. It was rust. It's just rust everywhere on that thing. And this has none. It's really a solid car, and I'll show you more about it as we go along. But let's get on with the video. We got some cool stuff going. Well, we're on our way to Arkansas to see my second cousin, Doug, who has the Triumph. And I'm really excited because I have not seen this car in 45 years, something like that. I don't know how old I was the last time I sat in it, but I was young, probably less than 10. So really looking forward to seeing it, and that's where it all started for me in cars.
I have never seen this car. I've seen Dad has shown me one photo that his great aunt had whenever she bought. Did she buy it new?
Yes.
She bought it new. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see it. This, of course, will be the second Triumph in the family after the first one that Dad has rebuilt, whatever that was, 10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know how long ago it was. That was a 65 Triumph Spitfire. And this is a 61 Triumph TR3A.
So real British car people, you can tell. But we're excited. We're bringing you guys along for the ride. Have some fun.
The Triumph Cycle Company was founded in 1897 and began producing motorcycles at its factory in Coventry, England in 1902. By 1918, Triumph was the largest producer of motorcycles in England, largely due to orders placed by the British government during World War I. In 1921, Triumph purchased Dawson Car Company and began to produce the Triumph 1020. This was their lone model until they came out with the Triumph Super 7 in 1927. The Super 7 was successful and sales numbers were high. This gave way to the Super 8 and the Super 9. In 1930, the company changed its name to Triumph Motor Company, and in 1934 released the Gloria, which came in a variety of different body styles. Due to the financial strains of the Great Depression, Triumph sold its motorcycle business in 1936, and in 1937 Triumph introduced the Dolomite. The Dolomite was an upscale car produced to be sold to an upscale market. It was having success until World War II broke out, and Triumph's factory was completely destroyed by bombing in 1940. So in 1944, the Triumph's name was bought by Standard Motor Company. Standard formed a subsidiary called the Triumph Motor Company Limited in 1945. Standard had been the engine supplier for Jaguar since 1938. However, Standard's director, Sir John Black, did not get along with the owner of Jaguar, William Lyons. Black's purchase of the Triumph name was to be able to compete against Jaguar. So in 1946, Standard introduced the Triumph Roadster, using the engine that it had produced for Jaguar before the war. Other models soon followed, like the Triumph Renown and the Mayflower, which were both saloons. Saloon is the British word for sedan. In the early 1950s, it was decided to start using the Triumph name for the sports car line and the Standard name for the saloons. And in 1953, the Triumph TR2 was born. The TR line, which stood for Triumph Roadster, was such a success that it was in production until 1981. The TRs were so loved that by 1963, Standard no longer used its own name in badging cars and switched entirely to the name Triumph. But back to the TR line. The TR2 is known for its empty mouth front. The car's performance capabilities were comparable to, and it was sold in competition to, much pricier cars like the Austin Healey 100, the Jaguar XK, and the Porsche 356. In 1955, the TR2 got a little bit of a facelift by filling its empty mouth with an egg crate, grill that is, and the TR3 made its debut. Other improvements over the life of the TR3 were an increase to 100 horsepower from its original 90. Laugh now, but the MG of the day only had 63 horsepower, and it also added front disc brakes. These Girling disc brakes were advanced for the day and were the biggest advantage over the competition. In 1957, we see the familiar look of our TR3A. Officially, the car was still known as the TR3, but most of the public added the A on when the grille was widened and corrected the awkward appearance of the front. The only other changes to the TR3A were just interior upgrades. The TR3 was the car that caught the interest of the United States, and annual sales rose to over 10,000 cars. In 1960, Leyland Motors bought Standard Triumph and continued with the TR line. 1961 was the last of the classic styling of the TR3, although some cars were sold as 1962 models. In 1961, Leyland decided to make the TR design more modern and hired Italian designer Giovanni Michelotti to completely redesign the car. He came up with the beautiful design of the TR4, the TR4A, the TR5, and the Spitfire, which was the only other Triumph I've owned. And these cars all had much more contemporary lines than previous models. In the following years, Triumph released the TR6, TR7, and TR8, with Leyland becoming British Leyland Motor Corporation in 1968. The last Triumph was manufactured in 1981 as the Triumph Acclaim, and in 1984, British Leyland retired the Triumph brand name.
All right, hey guys, this is my cousin Doug, and he has been the curator of this TR3A for, 5 or 6, 7 years maybe?
That's correct.
And we just got a new oil filter put on it, so he's going to jump in there, and I don't know if he's going to jump in there, but he's going to get in there and try to start it, right? And see if this thing starts.
Absolutely.
Hit it
with the Well, I thought I had enough in there.
Am I dissipating?
Yeah. I'm wondering if I foul the plugs fooling with the choke. Let's clean the plugs.
Okay.
Plug wire? It'd be 3 and 4 if I have.
These start at the front. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3. Well, it doesn't look like it. But can we try it?
Yeah, just try it. Let's see if it makes any difference. I don't think that happened,
Okay.
but I've done so many other things.
There you go.
I don't want anything from that crazy guy.
Man, it purrs now.
So you have to tell him a good mechanic so he knows exactly what to do first.
Antifreeze should be good, although I noticed this is leaking.
And that turns the heater off. And everything
That's
else.
it, exactly.
Man, I can't believe it sounds that good.
Well, I knew the engine was good. Take it around the block.
This will be the first time I've sat in this thing in 45 years. Since I was a little kid.
A little moisture.
I did. I'll do that next time.
Alright. Cut it this way. Stiff?
Yeah.
You're good. Looks like oil. Yeah, it had been running some.
Yeah, it's burning a little something. It could also be old gas too.
Second, third, and fourth should be.
Yeah. Is this work?
Should. Push the button down. Better than I thought. I had a doo-wop in it. It's straight. The nice bumper guards all cleaned out. These look great.
I love these windshield wipers.
Yeah.
Like 2 chopsticks with some rubber on the sides.
So there's your vent. Get air in there.
That's very cool. So what do you think? You gonna get it?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be rated for 7 people.
7 people?
3 in the seat, 4 in the back.
Wow.
And you know,
right there.
a current, well, if you put it on the hood, it does look cool on the hood.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
can't
okay.
see anything.
Yeah.
Can't see over it.
And what year did you say this was?
73, it's the same thing they made in 48. But look at all the sticks. One's full 4-wheel drive, one's high-low, one's an overdrive, and obviously gear shift.
It's cool. I've never seen inside one.
Can you imagine putting 4 soldiers and their equipment back there?
No.
Got mud flaps and the hitch back on it. And, I haven't really done much to it other than that. Oil bath, filters,
Yep.
and just 4 cylinders. It's I'm not sure. I think it's 50 horses.
50 horses.
It's hilarious, all these British vehicles. Like, I mean, Britain's like wet, like, what, 9 months out of the year, and they have these itty-bitty little wipers.
And they don't believe in putting heaters in them. I mean, I've got them, but heaters were optional.
It's because they all had tweed jackets on. Kept them warm.
Lap robes.
Yeah. Well, we've stopped for lunch. We've got the car on the trailer out back, and everything's going well so far. And I'm thrilled to have that thing. What do you think about it? It's the first time you've ever seen a real live TR3.
Mhm.
Hey,
I think it's shorter than my kneecaps.
it is so tiny, but it's so cool at the same time.
He said it had like 70,000 original miles.
I'll have to look at it, but 70-something thousand. Yeah.
It's pretty rad. Yeah, it was hilarious whenever, I don't know if you could hear it much in the video, but he was having a hard time starting it, and he goes, I bet you those plugs are fouled. So he walked over there, sandblasted them real quick, knocked them off with some carb cleaner, airbrush, or hit that with the air compressor, and then walked in there, put the plugs in, started it, still wouldn't start. And he goes, you might want to flip those plug wires. And so we flipped them, and then boom, fired right up. So it was hilarious that he knew exactly what was going on and how to get it fired right up. But man, it ran good.
Yeah, super smooth. And the idle's a little bit high. We'll adjust the idle on it and stuff, but very smooth sounding engine. Like I didn't hear any rattling or anything. So
it's got a little bit of a leak out of the hose that goes into the thermostat, but that's probably just something that's going to be real easy to fix. Maybe you get a different
needs a
clamp.
gasket or something.
Yeah. So, well, we're gonna head back home now. This will be yours someday, buddy, in like 70 years.
See, the wipers are like 7 inches long. See y'all in a little while.
And off he rides into the sunset. A lone rider with his British sports car. Never to be seen again. So this video was pretty cool. Watching my dad get to get a car that he not only has such long-term and treasured memories with, but also being able to be there with him to pick it up and film the whole thing and just to be a part of it was super cool. Wanted to address another thing. I feel like I've said this the last 3 videos that we've uploaded, but sorry it's been so long since we posted anything. In this case, videos like this that we do the history portion on, that we go and do the deep dive and trying to get you guys everything that took place in order for the car that we have to get to the place where it is. We feel like we owe that car justice to be able to do a full history portion on it. That section takes such a long time to for us to write and record the voiceover, find all the images, and then get all that stuff coordinated, make sure it's accurate. And so it just takes like forever to get that part edited, and that's on me. It just takes, I just don't have as much time to work on these videos as I used to, but I will try to dedicate more time to them so you guys aren't waiting a month in between every upload. But with that being said, you've got a whole new project now that we're going to be working on the channel. The plans for this car, I talked to Dad, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a full restoration on it. I believe is the goal. Time frame, no idea. I mean, it's one of those things that he's going to have that forever, and then he's going to pass it down to me whenever feels ready to do so. And so that car is going to hopefully stay in the family for just as long as we can keep it that way. I think what Dad's plan is he's going to get it running correctly, get all the mechanical stuff figured out, and just get it to where it needs to be, where you can just fire it up, go drive it, and have a blast. And then probably after that, after he's able to enjoy it for a good amount of time, probably start working on the body stuff. And the paint, I don't know if you could really tell from the video, is probably like a 5 out of 10 maybe. It's a great 50-footer car. Looks awesome from a good distance away. When you get up close to it, it's not that great. So I think that's going to be in the works at some point, but that's what we have for you now. But I hope you enjoyed this week's video. It's time for our verse of the week, which is Romans 8:28, that says, "And we know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose." Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you hit the like button down below. Make sure you get subscribed and hit the bell to get notified whenever we post videos, which will hopefully not be another month and a half. See you guys next time. And always remember, don't retire it if you can rebuild it. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in and watching this week's episode of Rebuild It. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any awesome content. Have a good one.